Thank you to our sponsors, Watchman Cigars, 1812 Barbecue, Blue Collar Motorcycle Shop, Hook, Line, and Heroes. Without you, this episode would not be possible. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's our take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, and you, the listener, are getting a degree in common sense. We are broadcasting from the Blue Collar Cycle Studio right here in beautiful downtown historic Concord, North Carolina. I'll be your host, Biggin, and how about you? We've got a great show lined up for you, as always, but before we begin, let me introduce you to the rest of the team. To my left, your right on the radio dial is producer Brian.
Hey, guys.
And back by popular demand is Marty McFly.
Hello. Hello.
And, of course, across the way sits the pride of Anderson, South Carolina, but most of you probably know him best as the Silver Tongue one, 2016's honorable mention Santa Impersonator of the Year, the inventor of the Redneck Egg Roll. Give it up on old mic number one. It's Mojo!
Hey, did you guys hear about the electrician with the anger management problem?
No.
He punched a wall. He needed an outlet.
Nah.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. You can find us on our Facebook page at Southern Fried Philosophy. I usually post stupid memes on there, so if you don't like those, please don't hate us. You can also go to our website at southernfriedphilosophy.com. You can have those playable links up there. It links us to some of our show notes where we talk about our news highlights, wacky news, et cetera, et cetera. You can also find us on the Twitters and Instagram at SFP Radio. You can find us on Patreon, patreon.com/SFP Radio. And also, wherever you listen to your podcast, just go there, search Southern Fried Philosophy. You'll see our little yellow and red icon pop up. And, yeah, just go there, subscribe, give us a like and a review.
That'd be fantastic. Also, say shout out to our friends at States Vegas Radio. You can listen to us Monday at 6 and Friday at 4, so we would appreciate that. Go check out our friends at States Vegas Radio. Download their app. Use promo code BIGGIN, and it's free one time only. We want to say shout out to our listeners from Kansas City and Knoxville, brought to you by the letter K.
I lived in Knoxville.
Did you really?
Yeah, sure did. For several years.
How'd you like it?
I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah, if one of these days when I retire, we'll probably move back to East Tennessee. Maybe, or maybe not.
I want to go to the Body Farm.
That would be awesome. Actually, I worked at a restaurant right across
Don't
the
say
river
that.
from the Body Farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the what?
The Body Farm. You don't know what the Body Farm is?
I have no idea.
University of Tennessee has a forensics lab.
So it is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's literally blocked off acreage that the University of Tennessee has for forensic science. People donate their bodies. Post-mortem, obviously post-mortem, and they set the bodies out in different types of environments, like, in covered in leaves or in a trunk, rusty trunk.
So how's the restaurant business across from that?
Well, you couldn't see it,
smell it,
but you couldn't smell it.
That's what I was thinking.
The restaurant I was at was on the Tennessee River, so anytime. When we got massive amounts of rain, you'd see the most interesting things floating in the river.
Please tell me the name of the restaurant was not Roadkill Cafe.
It's not Roadkill Cafe.
All right.
That'd be a pretty interesting way to get out of paying for a funeral.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I used to have a memorial service at whatever church you happen to be attending or a member of and ship your body to Tennessee. I'm sure the university probably pay to ship you.
They'd probably pay to ship me back. The way my body's going to be torn and worn by the time I die.
But think about it like this. I mean, you don't have to pay the undertaker to even embalm you.
Yeah.
Because if they want to study decomposition and stuff like that, they need you as is.
Fresh.
Yeah. So
fresh out the kitchen.
Like, roll me out of the hospital bed and into the weeds.
It's amazing, though, the amount of science they've actually popped out of that lab, quote unquote lab. I mean, they've their studies in science have now translated into other countries, and as far as being able to solve death and murder and things like that. So it's pretty awesome the things they've done there. Merry Christmas.
Speaking of, this is our last episode of 2019. Next week, we will not have a show, so go back, listen to your favorite episodes. We'd appreciate that. And then we will be back in January, so enjoy those old shows. All right, so I'm going to ask you like I ask you every week. Mojo.
So you're saying it's the last episode of the decade. I just got to say that.
Oh, it is. We need Barbara Walters to say, now this is 2020.
Yeah.
We'll have her on the next episode.
Barbara Wawa.
Let me make a note.
You'll make a note.
How old is she?
2020.
Her and Betty White, Willie Nelson, and Keith Richards have to be.
Today is Keith Richards' birthday.
No.
Oh, wow.
He was born in, what, in 1743, I think.
Something like that.
He came away across on the old Mayflower. I'm going to ask you like I ask you every week. Mojo, I be darn.
I'm good. Just obviously, this is kind of our holiday edition podcast, so we're looking forward to wrapping up Christmas. Even though it doesn't feel like Christmas, it is weird. We've had of course, with our family, we have our Christmas tree up since Halloween, so we just kind of drag it out. But yeah, so I'm ready for the girls to be out of school, so I can at least not have to yell at my teenager at 5:30 in the morning to get her ass up. So I'm looking forward to that for at least 2 weeks.
Producer Brian?
Oh, it's good. It is Christmas. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it should be Christmas. Kind of messes with my head. So I went to the Holy Land tonight. That's the Krispy Kreme next to the Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And I actually brought you guys something. So
Ooh.
Nice.
There's some boxes back here. I'll get those out. So I had an idea. I'm not sure if we've had this been said on the show, but I'm sitting in the double drive-through because that's a thing at Krispy Kreme apparently. And there's a Chick-fil-A, right next door. And I had this. I think maybe someone already said this, but it wasn't my idea, so I forgot it. You get your Chick-fil-A sandwich, take the bread off, and then you go order a couple of hot nows, and you put the chicken sandwich in the. Has that happened?
No, not on the show.
Okay,
I'm sure somebody's done that.
Right.
I mean, I've seen people do cheeseburgers that way. I've seen somebody use a Krispy Kreme
but
donut.
it's right there.
Bun.
You can just. Yeah. It's so easy to do. Everything's still going to be warm. Just leave it in a little insulated. Can you order a Chick-fil-A sandwich without the bread?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
The pickle or no pickle? That's the question.
I was just thinking that. Pickle or no
the
pickle.
question is, do you add the Chick-fil-A sauce on it with the donuts?
The question is that what's in the box?
So I was a little, surprise. So
now, if I had been a Chick-fil-A Krispy Kreme sandwich, I would probably
what if you put the Chick-fil-A on the conveyor belt with the glaze?
Ooh. Oh. All right, now we're getting somewhere.
Just took it to the whole new level there, my friend.
Ooh. So I've been seeing. So I follow Krispy Kreme on Instagram because I like to torture myself. And
sure.
I went tonight. I actually got a little disappointed because they have it's the gingerbread, but with the cream cheese filling.
Okay.
Have you seen those?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
They were out. So that ruined my whole bit. But I did just get the gingerbread ones here. If you guys want to try them.
Okay.
Might go nice with this hoppy beer we have. And I have a little palate cleanser here if those don't work out.
Are they Chick-fil-A sandwiches?
The chicken minis.
No, so you guys going to try those out.
Chicken minis with the little donut holes would be a pretty good combo, too.
That would be.
Put them, slide them in the middle of it? Yeah. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, just
good.
Sit out there for afternoon and just order the whole menus.
Smell the gingerbread.
So get those, whatever. But
you can pay with your food, just toss it up in the air, catch one in your mouth. And
So. Have your lovely partner look across lovingly in your eyes and just pop it in there?
That is love right there. Throwing food in each other's mouths.
Right.
That is love.
She usually just rears back and pings it at my head, so I'll probably stay away from that. Big Fly, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
You haven't been on the show for quite a while.
It has been a while.
It's been a minute.
At least a couple.
Yeah.
I missed you guys. I love coming here. I love hanging out with you guys. It's just with scheduling and
sure.
We started some new stuff with the brewery, so you guys record on Thursdays, and I kind of have some responsibilities there on Thursdays now.
Can we tell people what's going on?
You need to change your priorities.
I do need to work on. We've started doing a weekly trivia night, and it was pretty much my idea. So I feel like I should be there to help support it, make sure it's running smoothly until it's up off the ground. So it's been going pretty well. We're having a lot of fun with it. And my wife and I have kind of turned it into a date night to an extent. We both go up there and hang out and answer trivia questions. It's, that old, pathetic, middle-aged date night.
Do you throw things into each other's mouths?
No,
that'd be nice?
No. She throws things at me when I get a question wrong that she thought was... Like, there have been a couple instances where she had the right answer and I overruled her. That didn't go over well.
Yeah. Never does. Can I also just give you guys a shout out? I went there the other night and had the pizza. Man, that pizza's really good.
It's pretty solid.
I really enjoy that pizza.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
I had it, but the pictures.
I had it for dinner last night, actually, and even after the 20-minute drive home that I had, for it to get cold while I was driving, it was still good.
Well, and I look at it and I'm like, that is nothing. Like I could eat that in a minute.
Oh, you can, yeah.
But it actually fills you up, and I was like, wow, this is good. We also have the pretzel bites.
Yep.
Which were phenomenal.
You know what the secret? We toss those in olive oil and garlic before we put the salt, and we make the beer cheese with our Molly's Irish Red.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the olive oil and garlic is pretty much what makes those pretzel bites. They're quite good.
They're very good.
Very poppable, I would say.
Yeah, no doubt. And then we had because we took myself, Hussein, Bob, and Jack, my friend. We went there, and then we split the cookies as well.
Okay.
The pecan cookies.
Yeah, that's a good
those are unfortunately we're out of those. We used have you guys tried the pecan porter?
Mm-mm. No.
We've got a pecan porter, and we use it's 13 pounds of roasted pecans in each batch of it.
Holy cow.
And when we're done soaking the pecan flavor out of them, we pull that out and we make cookies out of the leftover pecans.
Well done, sir.
So, and typically when we do that, I think last time we just gave for every pizza you ordered, you got 2 free cookies or something.
Oh, nice.
So it worked out pretty good. And the pecan porter's a great beer. If you're into porters, definitely go try that beer.
Yeah, I'll give it a
I have
shot.
a question.
It's that time of year, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have a question about your trivia night.
Yeah.
What's like the age range you typically get in there?
I've had we've got one young lady who's a pretty regular who's 16.
Okay.
So
is it pretty broad?
It's very broad. The way we do it is there's 6 categories per night, and there's 6 questions per category. So you get 5 regular questions and a bonus question in each category. Usually takes about an hour and a half to run through. There's usually a visual category where they put it up on the screen and you have to answer a question based on the visual. And there's usually a music category where he'll play a snippet of the song and you have to identify the song and the artist.
Okay.
So the reason I ask is my wife and I went to another brewer down in Charlotte probably 4 or 5 months ago. The trivia night, it was a date night. Hey, let's try this. I was the oldest guy in the room.
Okay.
And I did really good on the first round. Like we tied, like we missed one. And I thought, okay, I got this one. I missed one, right? There was a 13-way tie for first place. And then I knew nothing the rest of the night. And I'm a guy who has a lot of useless knowledge.
Okay.
I knew none of this stuff, which is I was just sitting there drinking the whole night, which wasn't terrible, but
right, sure.
Well, the guy we've got running it for us does a really good job. I'm very happy with him so far. He has a goal in mind when he puts the questions together, and typically with the way the point structure, I think it's 240 possible points. If you get everything right, all the way through, it's like 240 possible points. And his goal is for the winning score to be about 195 to 200.
Okay.
That way, so everybody misses some. Yeah, everybody gets some right, everybody gets some wrong. And he always makes sure there's at least 2 questions per category that I could probably pull a bum off the street and he'd have a pretty good shot at getting it right.
Gotcha.
So, make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it works out pretty well. We enjoy it.
Yeah. This had like some very specific, like if you hadn't seen a TV show, the whole category was all, like Parks and Rec or something.
Right.
Now,
which
I've never watched it. But,
great show.
And some places do theme nights where that would be the case. Like I know right now, the guy that's doing it for us, he's also does it for Red Hill a couple times a month, and they're doing Star Wars right now.
Yeah.
They're doing Star Wars theme
I'll see you
night.
guys later.
See ya.
So
just keep hitting record and we'll be good to go.
All right.
If you want 0 points, just have a civics class, basically trivia. Just talk about history of the Constitution. You'll fail.
Actually, you would think that was the case, but we've got a couple of teams. Actually, I got a guy that wants to come hang out next time I come. Very into politics and trivia, and he's on one of the teams. He's there every week with his wife and some friends, and he's, if there's a history or constitutional, he's going to kill it every time.
You just see those videos, the man on the street videos. They're like, hey, who's this guy? That's Captain Crunch. No, that's Donald Trump. I hate him. Well, you didn't know what he looked like,
That would actually be a great segment for you guys to maybe do, is like a SFP man on the street.
Well, we talked about doing that at the RNC next year.
Oh, my God, yes.
I'm trying to get those tickets.
All right, well, this is something that's happened to me since, actually not since, because I've talked about it on the show before, but I'm very interested in Andrew Yang. I think we've all talked about this.
Which I think we're planning on talking about him on the later on the show.
A little bit. But speaking of the RNC, I've registered to be a delegate for Andrew Yang. So if he gets enough votes in the state of Democratic primary in the state of North Carolina, there's a chance that I will be going to the DNC later in 2020.
Huh.
Why would you want to subject yourself to that?
Dude, you know how much fun that would be? My boss has offered to buy me a GoPro so he can record all of my interactions.
Oh,
all right, so the palate cleanser just got opened up. And it's just
just a regular original.
There's nothing regular. There's nothing regular about.
Yeah,
that is so gorgeous.
Yeah, the gingerbread.
That is the Selma Hayek of donut.
Do I need to try that one?
Yeah, because gingerbread is one of those things.
I said that is the Selma Hayek of donut right
there. Yeah,
doesn't matter how long it sits there; it still looks good. Is that?
Or who were we talking about earlier? Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner.
Yeah. What were we going to say?
Well, like gingerbread's one of those flavors you either love it or you hate it. A lot of times it has that spicy on it. It was a risk. That's why I got the other ones.
Well, you get the some of them use like allspice or whatever in their stuff, and it's just so overwhelming. Yeah. But this is actually really
I really like it.
Speaking of things that most people either like it
goes well with this beer too,
or hate it. Where are we at on fruitcakes? Am I the only one in the room that likes the fruitcake? Everybody's like about to throw up. Okay, all right.
I've never had a good one, like a fresh, like you make if you make a good one.
Yeah,
I've never been in that place.
I mean, I've heard you can buy them that have rum in them, maybe.
Right. A neighbor made some and put rum in it, and she's like, "Don't eat it now. You got to let it sit for a couple of days." Yes, ma'am. And then cut it, and hey, man, that was fantastic.
Huh.
I'll be honest with you, I've never had fruitcake before.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Huh.
I've never had.
Interesting.
I've had it, but
I'm
not proud.
I can say that about many interactions in my life.
At least you've seen a fruitcake on the shelf, unlike the redneck egg rolls yet that we've still yet to see.
Mythical. Well, are you going to be around for New Year's?
Yes, I will.
I will have plenty of collards for New Year's.
Sure.
I will make them.
I heard that before.
That's what she said.
Can I tell you what burns my biscuits? I have become, evidently, without my knowledge, and again, pause. There's little kids listening to the show. You may want to turn it down just a little bit because I'm going to use a word that is very reflective of how I feel. I've become a daycare whore, it feels like. The daycare that Hot Pocket goes to is constantly hitting me up to go sell and hawk their crap. Every time I get a message from them, I think, oh my gosh, Hot Pocket's in trouble. Yes, okay, he is in trouble. But then the next message I get is, oh, by the way, I need you to sell some popcorn for us so that we can raise money for Christmas gifts for the teachers. Wait, what? Why am I doing this? I'm paying you guys a crap ton of money.
Do they have the chocolate peanut butter popcorn?
I don't think so, but I'll go through the magazine.
It'd be way overpriced if they did.
It's so good, though.
The other day, I was going to pick him up, and they had other people, small businesses, hawking their stuff through the hallway. And it was like an
pop-up vendors.
Yeah, it was like an Indian marketplace going to pick him up. Like, would you like? I was like, no, I don't want. No, I don't want any of this stuff. Guys, yeah, it's a cheap Folex.
You have a rug or something you got,
So I walked out of there with some earrings. I thought Jessica would like them or not. But please stop. Every day I'm getting a message. Don't forget, do this for our Easter basket fundraiser thing. I'm like, God, stop for the love of God.
Really? I don't get that much from schools.
Yeah, my son's school, this in middle school, not so much, but elementary schools, got to the point where some of your parents got frustrated. They just gave you the opt-out option at the beginning of the year.
Oh, see, that's
and it's
perfect.
Like if you write me a check at the beginning of the year for X amount, we won't bother you for any of this
stuff. See, that's perfect. How much is that?
I can't remember because it's been a couple years since he was at that school.
I would do it.
But I absolutely. Like, if you want me to, don't send me fundraisers. Tell me in August how much to write the check for. I'll write you the check and just leave me alone.
God bless the bear.
But does that speak to the school or the daycare cannot properly run a business? That
100%.
How much is shortfall? You know what I'm saying? I mean, does that speak to it?
Well, do you want to put that in your
bump
budget?
the price up a little bit.
We're already getting raked
it's
over
not
the
cheap.
coals.
I know it's not cheap.
Daycare,
cheap.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Y'all, we are in the wrong business.
It's cheaper to send a kid to college, I think.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it is rough. But why am I'm paying you all this money, and now I'm asked to give you more money and more money, and it just frustrates me. Burns my biscuits, y'all.
I will tell you, when I saw that on the list on the thing for today, that is not where I thought we were going with that.
I wish it was a different story, but alas, it is not.
I was like, man, that sounds like a really interesting daycare.
All right, so we'll go to our fact check follow-up. I did post a picture. We had Becky Santoro from Foster Village on the last episode, and I was able to go down and see the Foster Village house. What a great experience that is, a little house where parents and foster parents and kids can all go and just have a hangout time. We went there for a birthday party, so it was a fantastic little experience. Again, if you guys want to volunteer and get your hands dirty, that's probably the wrong word to say, but if you want to get involved in foster cares and helping that, please check out our friends at Foster Village, fostervillage.com, fostervillagecharlotte.com. All right, so let's go into some wacky news brought to you by 1812 Barbecue. Probably a little bit too late, but if you needed or maybe a New Year party catering, maybe our friends at 1812 Barbecue.
Might as well they're already putting out the Valentine's decorations. Go ahead and think about Valentine's.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, yeah.
Could you do a Valentine's Day, like, pig roast?
Oh, yeah. Why not?
That'd be fantastic.
Maybe we should do like a men's Valentine's night.
If you got a woman that loves barbecue as much as you do, I mean, that's marriage material.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. That's a woman you keep.
That's how you test that relationship right there. How do you feel about brisket?
Yeah. I have a barbecue baby brewing over here.
That is the great thing about having a 4-month-old is I can tell people that I still have yet lost the baby weight. And the people look at me like, hey, what's going on with that? All right, so, Marty, one of the episodes that you were on, we had a wacky news story where a ruckus broke out in a Walmart. People were getting naked. Was that
the naked kung fu guy and his mom was on the rascal scooter thing?
And wouldn't get off.
Okay,
the rascal got arrested. And one of the lines, and the theory was they're causing a distraction while somebody else is robbing the Walmart.
Right.
And then you instantly came out and said, well, that's one hell of a distraction, which to me is probably the funniest line that we've had besides Corn Pop was a bad dude.
That needs to be on our drops.
There you go.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Well, we have a kind of similar story that I hate to report. This is coming out of California. Jose Montue, 28, was taken into custody after an incident at a church. Deputies were called to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, there you go.
After a fight broke out at around 6 p.m. during a holiday party. Clayton said that Monterey's father, who he did not name, had to try to break up a fight between his son and a missionary.
That is so unlike every Mormon I've ever met in my life.
Right.
I mean,
how old was the kid?
28.
Every Mormon I've ever met in my life were like the sweetest, nicest, most laid-back, gentle people ever.
Sure.
I don't know if it's in the Kool-Aid they drink or what, but I mean...
no, they are the nicest people, though. Yeah. Well, for the most part. I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions.
There's a, you know.
And they all have the same dress pattern, too, when they pull up on their bicycles.
I think that's a different one.
Hey, some of them are allowed to wear, some of them wear blue pants and some of them wear black pants. So it's, you know, now they are navy blue, but still they're.
Guys, it doesn't.
You are allowed to express some individuality.
It doesn't end there. But Monterey then allegedly started punching his father instead of the missionary, and then bit off a 1-inch piece of his dad's earlobe.
So he went Tyson on him.
He did. Deputies found Montuay at the church, but they tried to find his dad. His dad actually drove 20 minutes before stopping at a Dollar General store more than 15 miles from the church to get this, buy super glue. The deputies told the father before he could try to glue his ear back on that they were going to call the ambulance. Some folks from the Dollar Tree said, quote, I feel like that would be more of a wartime kind of fix. That's not something you would necessarily do in modern situations, but because you have medicine all around you. Someone else said, at least he's trying to save money by going to the Dollar General.
Someone's watched too many action movies.
Tell me this. Like, how is it that the Dollar General employee is the most logical one in this whole story?
The son is being charged with $100,000 bail, and he's being charged with mayhem. Do you guys actually know what mayhem is?
It's those commercials you see on Sundays with the guy riding around in the back of the car.
Was it Nationwide?
Nationwide.
Which, by the way, I love those.
Yeah, that dude's good. Yeah.
Mayhem is actually a felony in California defined as unlawfully or maliciously disfiguring or disabled a person's body. If convicted, he could face up to 8 years in prison or up to $10,000 fine.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you,
but you still can crap on the street in San Francisco in daylight.
Could you imagine trying to bite your father's ear? What your father would have done to you? I know what mine would have done to me. I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Look, my dad is 74 years old. And I'm still scared.
Of
what my dad would do. Sure,
100%. Papa Cliff to this day would bend me over his knee and give me a few spankings.
My mom is 4'9", if she's lucky. I'm still scared of that woman. Sure. I'm 42 years old.
My dad hit me in the head one time, and it was all it took.
Back to the Future.
Oh, so I just thought that was interesting. He decided to super glue his ear back.
I don't get that one. I
think I want to party with these Mormons. If that's how they get down.
What was in the eggnog, by the way?
Yeah,
I think that's just it. They don't drink. That is like totally. That is like you think Baptists are teetotalers? No, you got nothing on them.
Oh no. I mean, friends of mine out in Texas. They used to be in South Carolina. That's where I know them from. I mean, some of the most upstanding individuals I've ever met. I mean, they really took their beliefs and their. I mean, me. People look at me. They're like, there's no way you are a Christian. So. But yeah, the Mormons, I mean, they just did a great job of upholding their beliefs.
One of our first guests was our friend Leif, who's also a Mormon, and man, I love that man to death. So
he was great.
Yeah. The 1812 barbecue story started over 20 years ago when Eric and his dad started entering local barbecue competitions for fun. During that time, Eric, a United States Marine, has traveled all over the world picking up flavors and techniques that today is the unique flavor of the award-winning 1812 barbecue. He has honed his craft to bring you fall-off-the-bone pulled pork, mouth-watering ribs, and finely crafted beef brisket. Eric has developed his own amazing dry rub and delicious barbecue sauce. And let's not forget the sides: coleslaw, smoked Gouda mac and cheese, cowboy baked beans, and to top it all off, banana pudding and pecan pie for dessert. Getting hungry yet? Good. Call or email Eric at 1812 Barbecue, and he can make your next catered meal happen. Wedding and graduation parties, family reunions, and other events will be memorable with 1812 Barbecue. Want to try your own hand at smoking meats? Pick up your own 1812 dry rub and start the journey for yourself. Shipping all over the world, connect with Eric on his Facebook page, Instagram at 1812 Barbecue, or call 704-604-5148. Or email Eric at eric.line@1812barbecue.com, and he'll be glad to help any way he can. All right, here we go. Here's the next one. Guys, this would freak me out. The Sparta Police Department says on December 10th that a woman's dog kept barking at a bedroom closet that evening. The woman and another family member tried to open the closet door but couldn't, and they saw fingers sticking out from inside the door holding it shut. The man identified by police as 32-year-old Kabian Coleman said, "Ho, ho, ho," while inside the closet. Then he told the family members not to ruin their Christmas surprise if they opened the door. The two family members called 911, and during that time, the intruder left the closet and went to a nearby garage, taking some items before going to a different home. Police tracked down the footprints in the snow to another garage at a different street. This is where it gets funny. Once the officers got the entry code, they pushed the button to open the garage, but immediately noticed someone was inside because he pushed the button to close it. This happened multiple times until an officer was able to distract the intruder and get into the garage. Coleman was then arrested by the officers. I mean, guys, that sounds like a Austin Powers move where you hit the button, it goes up, and it goes back down.
I'm seeing the one where he's trying to turn the car around in the hallway.
Right. But it tickled me so much that they had to distract him. This is SWAT. How could they not get through the garage door without distracting the guy?
How did they distract him?
I wish it would say. Maybe they threw some of the gingerbread Krispy Kreme donuts in there and distracted them.
Maybe somebody went around a little side door with the window and started knocking on it.
Oh, but I mean, just up and down, up and down, up and down. And the fact they tracked him down with the footprints in the snow.
Mr. Claus, your wife's out here.
You know from the movies, you got to get a tree branch to cover your tracks in the snow.
Duh.
Well, maybe it was knee deep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go into some hot topics. Really, our hot topics are brought to you by Watchman Cigars. If you want a quality cigar at a reasonable price, check out our friends at Watchman Cigars. Really, this is our last show of 2019, so I kind of wanted to do a recap, if we could, of all 45 shows.
Buckle up,
Hey,
folks.
we were pretty consistent this year.
We did 45 shows. With this one airing, would be 45. So we did pretty good. What do you guys think?
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Not too bad.
I barely worked 45 days this year. So.
You win.
So we won't recap it, but we'll kind of recap as we go through some of our memories. What are some of the best memories that you guys have had on the show for this 2019 season? And I sure hope you guys thought about these before.
I got one while y'all are thinking.
Sure, go ahead.
I love the Vince Coakley episode. I absolutely loved hanging out with Vince Coakley that night. That was a great night.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Great dude.
Great voice of the in North Carolina and also the upstate of South Carolina.
Yeah, and just great insight on some stuff. It was a fun conversation.
I
really
want him
liked
to
that
voice
night.
over my eulogy.
Oh yeah,
I think he would do a great job of that.
He's not quite James Earl Jones good, but he's in the.
Oh,
he's like right
got
there.
A great
he does
voice for radio.
Yeah. One of mine, the best thing that I think that happened to our show for 2019 is producer Brian jumped on the bandwagon.
Same thing.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Sorry.
I was going to say the same thing. No, I was going to say I appreciate being able to come alongside you guys. I think I started like in March or something.
Yeah.
Taking over some of the audio duties, but it's been a fun ride.
Yeah,
sure.
Best moments. I think seeing you cry a couple of episodes.
Daggone. Why you gotta be like that?
Well, because it just, I think listening to the audio part of it, it gives a glimpse into the person that we know and love. You know what I'm saying? So here, for 79 cents a day, you too can sponsor Big.
I need a sponsor.
AA's hiring.
Yeah, I think that. And, I mean, just so many great guests. I mean, it could be someone who, for example, Foster Village or just some, one of the guests. Just hearing stories is what makes people pretty cool. You know, I mean, it could be someone that, works a full-time job doing their 40, but they have something outside that they're very passionate about. And I really love hearing those stories. Yeah.
I also really enjoyed the Bourbon Trail that we went on this year. Next year we'll include producer Brian as part of the show. So I really enjoyed.
Hopefully we can do a show on the road.
Oh yeah,
I think that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We have the equipment now that we can. So we actually, for the show, we've got a lot of new equipment. We've got a new studio. We moved to a different studio.
Matching tattoos.
We did. Don't ask us where. But we've gone a long way for the show. So we've done some cool stuff. We got trademarked this year for the show. So that was a good thing. Any of the best guests that come to mind? You say Vince Coakley. Was there anyone else that kind of came to mind?
I got to look back through the list.
Yeah,
again.
sure.
I'm sorry. I looked at it earlier.
I'm going through the podcast directory right now.
I think for me, one of my favorite guests, just because I know he holds a huge torch in the podcast world, is when we had Jim Harold on from Campfire Stories, from the Paranormal Podcasts. The fact that he's got such a huge reach, and we had him on the show, I thought was huge. Huge, as Trump said.
Huge. I don't have that.
Man. I will say, too, just a teaser, we've got some pretty big names coming up for next year. So I'm really excited to have some guests on that also carry some clout and carry a big stick in their respective fields. So
the greatest president that God ever created.
I heard Trump is going to be on next year. I don't know.
We're not saying.
But I just heard a rumor.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Any special guests?
I always enjoy having our local businesses on.
Mm-hmm.
Marty's always become a fan favorite and one of our favorites.
Yep.
Chris from Red Hill, because these guys are passionate about what they do, so you get to dive into a little bit further. Like, everyone knows, craft beer, I got to drink that because that's better than, the
domestic
Miller lattes, So, I mean, everybody, and you find out why, and then you find out why their story is. And I just enjoy it. Like Cities for Life.
Mm-hmm.
You hear why they do what they do, and they're passionate about it. And a lot of people probably go, you know what? I don't think I could do that, but I can do something else I'm passionate about. I love inspirational stories. If it's from health and wellness to something spiritual to, some of our things we enjoy, cigars to, bourbon or beer. I mean, just things. Yeah. It's just interesting to get into someone's head of why they do what they do.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the reason why we listen to podcasts. That's the reason why I want to do this podcast is, we're stupid, but if we can inspire someone to do something or even inspire them not to do what we do, it's still inspiration.
Right. I think, like you said, hearing people's stories, like we met Alan McCoy from Hook, Line, and Heroes and Eric Line from 1812 Barbecue. They became partners of the show because they were connected through Leon, through other people, and we partnered with Leon. So having those guys and hearing their stories as well, driving the Tesla from the 773 Foundation was amazingly fun.
Tim Jones, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at that one here.
I was just about to say that.
You got starstruck when we met him in Kentucky. That was awesome. Yeah.
I did. I get starstruck so easily. I did the same thing with Vince when we went to inside the studio.
It's awesome watching that because I wish I had that. Just like I have secondhand embarrassment, you get starstruck. So.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to Disneyland, and that I see somebody famous. I'm like, oh, here we go.
I saw you model on QVC.
Right.
So you get starstruck with like D-list celebrities.
Anybody that's ever been on radio or TV.
Lower than D-list.
Yeah.
He had a man crush on the Weatherman. That's one of my first stories I enjoyed.
You say moderately famous TV personalities from like public access.
Exactly. Could be the call screener from like a PBS, Save PBS telethon.
We went to the Today Show a couple years ago, and I still remember the cameraman's name was Jimmy, and I was like, man, Jimmy's a cool dude. Just because he got to hang out with, Al and at that time Matt Lauer and all those guys. So
Matt thought he was a cool dude.
A little too good.
Yeah.
What if he had any I wonder if he did any side work for Matt.
Just don't close the office door behind you when you go to Matt.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Did you have any guests that stuck out to you?
The live shows were the ones we did on location were a lot of fun. I felt like, did Hunter House with Matt Doherty. That was a really cool conversation. Basketball coach turned CBD salesman. And Southern Strain was a great experience, the Red Hills opening, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I like getting out where the people are, that stuff. So it was really cool.
Yeah, cool. We'll definitely be doing that more. And then I promise to our SFP insiders we'll get some more content out at Commoners. We'll be out there.
Absolutely. That was a fun night. Yeah. That was kind of the pilot of the remote equipment, I believe. Right, so we were working some bugs out. Yeah, it worked. We drank a lot of good beer that night, I think.
I think so.
And but I would definitely like to. I mean, I'd love to do that once a month if you guys are up for it. I think it would be a lot of fun.
And I love an open form of expression.
Yeah, where we don't have to, self-censor or edit.
That's right.
I don't think producer Brian's finger's quite fast enough.
I do it in post.
I just had the mental picture when you said that your free form expression is I'm going to get a duct tape Krispy Kreme donut and put it on the wall out there.
Ooh, how much would we sell that for?
120.
It won't last long enough to get auctioned off. Somebody be licking the icing off the duct tape.
Brandon, get off of that. What about the best gravy? We did some good gravy tastings. Any ones that stood out to you the most?
When it comes to sausage gravy, I am still a basic, like the ones who try to over incorporate other ingredients that don't need to be in basically a sausage, milk, flour, gravy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are nice, but when I eat sausage, biscuits, and gravy, I that's what I want.
Yeah.
I don't need all the accoutrements that they throw into it. So for my money, fast food, still Bojangles.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then I would say not fast food here in Concord is Maple Street Biscuit Company. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
A little cayenne in there. It's a little spicy.
Mm-hmm. It is a little spicy.
I could just eat like a Yeti cup of that.
Guys, I'm still a sucker for breakfast time. That biscuit gravy there, I think, is legit.
I haven't been there.
I'm telling you, it's some good stuff. Have you had breakfast time?
There's one right by the brewery.
Yeah.
The hard part is getting in there during my time schedule.
Yeah.
Because there's usually a wait. And this is, I'm going to throw out a non-biscuit related gravy.
Okay.
Christo's right down here on, that's a little mom and pop place. They're fried chicken with gravy.
Oh, milk gravy. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Have to give that a shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we taste the other gravies? It's not like a breakfast, like a biscuit and gravy. Can we like fried chicken gravy?
A gravy flight or something?
Yeah. Can we do that?
We ought to put that
legal?
I mean, yeah. Why not? It's not a controlled substance.
I'm just saying it comes out on a platter, and the chicken is about the size of the plate.
Mm-hmm.
There's this big
Where's this place
slab
again? I need to.
It's on
Crisco's. Is that what
Christo's.
Christo's. Like Monte Cristo's?
No, I was thinking of like the lard.
The count of, what is it? Branchview. It's on Branchview.
Okay.
And
you're pointing this
chicken
direction.
Fried steak,
Branchview's way the other way.
No, we're in a room with no windows.
Yeah.
No, give me a break.
That is true.
So, but yeah, I mean, the reason it sticks out is I just came there that's where I had dinner tonight. So
okay.
It sticks out. It's,
you didn't bring none.
I brought donuts. Where's the?
I did not realize we were doing the best gravy. But it comes out on a platter. That's, like I said, the chicken's hammered and about as big as the platter and covered in mashed potatoes and gravy.
It's more breading than actually chicken by the time they pound it out.
Oh yeah.
It's still so good.
That's one of those foods that like I've only had it good, not in a restaurant, maybe one time.
Yeah.
Because no one in my family ever really made it.
Well, I think in order to do that right, you've got to have one of the really big deep fryers where you can just drop it, flash fry it.
Well, to do it right, be honest with you, is they machine the chicken breast out. Like you actually have a machine that you can throw the chicken breast through or the steak through, and it actually pounds it out and flattens it.
Really?
So yeah, and it's usually
well, that's how you get thin. Yeah.
If any restaurant that does chicken fried chicken or chicken fried steak, if they're not if it's not coming in pre-frozen, I question, just because it's just so much easier to buy it that way, even though it's better homemade. But still, though, I don't care if it's frozen, fresh, whatever. That's kind of a guilty pleasure, especially if you can. I get creative with mine. I'll actually fold mine over like a quesadilla and throw all my sides in it, and just go to town.
Just load that with
meat taco.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's keto approved, right?
Only on Sundays. I've already blown that with the stupid donuts.
You're welcome.
The 7 donuts. It's like 6 days worth of carbs right there.
You gonna start crashing here soon?
Oh, I hope so.
Best bourbon of 2019 that we've had. This I know. Producer Brian's got his eyes bugging out.
I forget most of them. After I drink the first 8, then
I've been. I opened up the Cream of Kentucky a couple weeks ago, and I'm a huge fan of that. The Old Forester Single Barrel, big fan of that one as well. So those are probably the two for this year that I'm really dialed into. I also like the peanut butter whiskey, but that's not technically a bourbon.
I'm going to go with, and I know this sounds kind of sentimental, and I could care less, but anytime I've been around you guys at the Downtown Cigar Bourbon Club, I think that's the best whiskey or the best bourbon, just because it's cool. You get to enjoy it. You get to talk to people, meet new people. You get to the opportunity to, you're tasting the same thing. Maybe they are, and kind of figure out what the differences are. So that's probably my favorite.
It's a cool experience.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is.
I say one of my favorite new bourbons that you turned me on to was the Doc Porter's. Here at local. I've really enjoyed that.
I will second that. The first time I had that was one of the young the guitar player.
Patrick Lilly.
Patrick Lilly.
Yeah, that was the show where you made the joke.
Yeah. He brought us a bottle. That's a hell of a description.
Yeah, that was it.
Go.
That was the show.
I guess I had too much bourbon that night. I don't know. But actually,
that was one of those shows too.
My boss actually bought me a bottle of that for my birthday.
Nice.
I took some to an office gathering, and he liked it so much that my birthday rolled around. He bought me a bottle of it. So
awesome.
It's I've enjoyed that one this year.
Very
for sure.
cool. Also, 1792 single and full proof. I really like those too.
I have a almost empty bottle of that.
Nice. All right, we talked about this so much on the show's best chicken sandwich. Guys, so I had to do more and more research on this one over and over and over again. And I put the Popeyes next to the Chick-fil-A. No sauces were included because I needed to go straight just out of the bag.
Pure science here.
Yep. I have to say, I like the Popeyes just with no sauce than the Chick-fil-A. Just threw that out there.
You might get excommunicated.
Well, this is the last show. Thanks, guys.
That's Jesus' chicken.
Band's breaking up.
This is the series finale. I'm still Chick-fil-A because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like the Popeyes.
Right.
In fact, I thought about buying 2 Chick-fil-A chicken breast and then sandwiching the the Popeyes chicken breast in between it, just kind of like doing a triple decker chicken.
Oh,
I've thought about
good
doing
Lord.
that. Just because I don't think Popeyes actually seasons their flour. It's just a tempura batter. I mean, I like the crunchiness of it because, Chick-fil-A just doesn't have any type of breading or extra crunchies or anything like that.
There's no crunchy to Chick-fil-A at all.
But I just enjoy the Chick-fil-A.
It's that steamer bag they put it in. Takes all the.
It does. It does absorbs all the moisture from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So mine would still be Chick-fil-A.
One of the things, though, I did order 3 at the same time. It was for me, Hot Pocket, and Jess.
Whatever you say.
So Hot Pocket and Jess were out of the state, but I wanted to head and just order 3. But here's the truth: 2 of them were the actual fillets. One of them, I guess they ran out of fillets and threw the
Tenders or something?
the tenders on it.
Oh, that's so chintzy.
I was like, you got me on that one. Yep. So buyer beware when you go through Popeyes.
Did it
You
taste
may
the
not
same?
actually no.
The tenders are different.
Yep.
Well, just, the good thing
It didn't
about
have
it,
the
both
batter.
restaurants are the same, I mean, you get such hospitality at Popeyes and so clean.
Yeah.
It's funny. The Chick-fil-A, Popeyes chicken sandwich thing, I think they're both good. They're both fast food.
Sure.
But the best chicken sandwich I've ever had in my life was from a little place in my hometown called Evans Barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
And they called it barbecue, but honestly, everybody went there for the fried chicken. Nobody went there for the barbecue. And there's a little brown shack off a dirt driveway off a main road. And I took 2 college buddies there. We went home to visit. And I was like, hey, we're going to go get a chicken sandwich. And these 2 guys are thinking, we're going to go to Chick-fil-A, something to get a chicken sandwich. I pull into this brown 2-story shack that still has a wood stove in it.
Oh, wow.
And I go in, I said, I need 3 chicken sandwiches. And they hand you the little styrofoam foldable container. And they handed me 3 of them. I will go out and hand them. You go out and eat on the hood of your car because there's no seating to sit and eat.
Nice.
And I'm handing them. They open up the boxes. It's a bone-in chicken breast and 2 pieces of Wonder white bread. And they're looking at me like, what the hell is this?
Build your own chicken sandwich.
And I said, just bite it. Just shut up and bite it. And they were like, oh, my God, this is the best chicken I've ever put in my mouth.
Is this place still open?
It is, but they have since torn down the shack, and it's now a little diner-type place.
They've now made it DHEC compliant.
Exactly, yep.
Is it the same, though?
It's not as good as it used to be. But now, in their defense, the guy that did most of the cooking when I was growing up and when I was in college is no longer with us. He's since passed on to cook chicken for God. But
maybe he's passed the Jesus recipe to
I guess.
Chick-fil-A.
But that was the best. That is the best chicken I've ever put in my mouth. My grandmother fried a hell of a chicken, but she didn't come close to that. I mean,
Wow.
and those guys, they were looking at me like I said, like I had 3 heads. I was like, just shut up and bite it, and you'll be okay. Man, it hit their mouth, and they're like, oh my God.
Every hometown has, well, I shouldn't say every, most people have hometowns that have that one restaurant. You're like, this is it. This is the icon of the city.
You don't go there. You don't,
Yeah.
you're like, you walk in and you're like, there might be a health grade hanging somewhere.
Yeah. Some of them aren't even known for their food. They're just known for their ambiance and atmosphere, what they represent for that community. Like we have a hot dog joint in my hometown. It ain't the best hot dog, but my grandfather went there, took my dad. My dad took me there.
Yeah.
I took my daughter there. It's just one of those generational experiences.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a barbecue place like that too. That's the other place I go every time I go home. I go by there and get some barbecue. It's not the greatest barbecue in the world, but it's pretty close.
Marty, you can excuse yourself from the next one. Best brewery.
Oh.
On the reverse side.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's a 2-page document. I think I went to 3 breweries this year. 4, actually.
Okay.
I think Southern Strain just knocked it out of the park for me. I've been to other breweries. I liked every single thing that came out of that tap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something you can say about, for me, for my palate.
Right.
Let me sit back there all day.
Yeah.
Pour beers.
Sure. Yeah, I enjoyed it too. We actually went Sunday to go get the food there because now the
brunch, the hot box.
Yeah,
I did 2 weeks ago. I was there for that.
Yeah, I'll say slightly overpriced.
It's a food. I mean, it's an inside food truck. It's gonna be. Yeah,
I'm just saying, slightly overpriced. Anyway, but the brewery, I thought was fantastic. Some of Chris stuffs that were at Red Hill, where he's changed the recipe up a lot, taste fantastic to me as well.
Beers were also
so,
great.
Hey, I enjoyed that as well. We have yet to make Armored Cow, so that's one we should go to. Ojo,
favorite brewery? I can't give that because I could probably pinpoint something exciting about every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I like Southern Strain. I really enjoyed the historical impact they had on that building.
Mm-hmm.
I also did enjoy their beer.
Mm-hmm.
I been back since just due to work constraints, but everything we did try there, great, phenomenal. You can also their passion and pride. Ford's passion and pride with that. I know this is a cop out, but
no. I think you're right. It's probably everybody has something that they're best at.
Yeah. Red Hill, Chris is very passionate too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody can meet Chris and be like, he might like beer.
Kinda.
But like the Dolomite, the cherry stout we tried was great. Some of his new releases or revisions of his way kind of cut his teeth on some of these beers. He's cut his teeth on. The revisions have been phenomenal. I think that's a great thing for especially people that've been there for a long time. They get to kind of experience that kind of growth and how he brews and how just develops his product. Marty's here. I've enjoyed the pizza. I've also enjoyed the new English style or the English ale. What's the name of that?
The Irish or London Has Fallen.
Yeah. Man, I've drank a few migraines on
that. Is that named after the movie?
Honestly, I was not there when that was named.
Oh, really?
But I would assume it probably is.
Yeah.
Gerard Butler, I think.
Yeah.
No, I was not there for the naming of that beer, but I'm sure it probably had something to do with it. Yeah.
As long as it's not Gerard Depardieu.
No, the English ales to that lime with him.
Yeah, that was. I enjoyed that one too.
Oh, me too, because it's in a summertime beer. So
yeah,
I really
it's definitely a
enjoyed that one.
summertime beer. Yeah.
But just so many experiences. I've had a chance to go to. Can I remember the name of the brewery now?
Was that good?
Yeah, went to a couple in Asheville. Actually visited one in Cincinnati while I was there. Raleigh has a couple of really good breweries. I've been there, so I go up there, make an excuse to go by. So, I mean, there's so many. Like I said, the cool thing is also when their employees buy into it, buy into that vision. It's just been, I think, a phenomenal experience.
Yeah. Can I change mine? When I was thinking about it, I think Town Branch, the Kentucky Ale. I just love their beer. I love it. That's going to be my favorite.
Luckily, I sweet talked the lady a couple times where she actually gave me a couple free pours.
Oh, nice.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they had.
They crushed it.
Yeah,
they
especially that tequila barrel aged beer. We're like, this is going to be horrid.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, this is actually phenomenal.
It's actually, it's quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I'd love to do a Gosa that's tequila barrel aged. I think that would be enough.
A what now?
A Gosa style beer.
Yeah. I thought you said a ghost.
I thought that too.
Like, wait, what?
Of course,
that would be phenomenal. I think that could be some fun. We want to do a mojito Gosa.
Mojito? You must pronounce it as mojito.
If you're in the market for a high-quality cigar for a very reasonable price, you must check out our friends at Watchman Cigars. Watchman Cigars is a family-owned business that puts the customer first with the best customer service in the business. Watchman Cigars offers the Habano for a full, spicy flavor, the Connecticut for a mild, easy-to-smoke option, and the Maduro for a strong, powerful experience. They even do specialty blends and partner with you to provide a custom, exclusive line just for you. Watchman Cigars has all your cigar needs. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Watchman Cigars 1991, or check out his new website at watchmancigars.com or the sponsor section of our website. All right, next one, most entertaining politician. I don't think you can.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
I can't get it.
Oh, man.
Dude, can I have some fun with this one?
Go ahead.
Sure.
I don't know who the most entertaining politician is. I almost want to say it's like a 540-way tie.
Okay, great.
I was watching some of the coverage over the last few days, and we truly have the government we deserve.
Sure. No, I'll give you that.
I don't know who's. I mean, Maxine Waters is one of my personal favorites.
Low IQ Maxine.
I love Maxine Waters.
James Brown's sister. She's
It looks like, well, I can't say that. This is a family show.
Family show. Yeah.
well, between her, Maxine Waters, and Sheila Jackson Lee.
Oh, well, and Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff looks like he looks like the guy that couldn't get a date in high school, so now he's just pissed off at the whole world.
Yeah. Hey,
That's also me.
he looks like someone if you were to, I don't know, he looks like a pimple that's about to be popped.
Oh, my.
I don't know.
Goodness.
I don't know. I
Now
think he has a
I'm Googling
great
pimples that need to be popped.
He has a great radio voice. I like his, but he's I don't know. Shifty Schiff is probably a perfect nickname for the guy. I think
I called him Shift Stain.
Shift
Oh,
Shift Show.
see what
yeah.
you did there.
But I think AOC has given so many gifts this year.
She is the gift that keeps on giving all year long.
You know, awesomely, we still have her next year for a whole full round of gifts.
Oh, dude, we got her for the rest of our lives. She will never lose an election in that district. I mean, Nancy Pelosi herself said it. You could put a D next to a dead dog in that district, and it's going to win.
You could take some of the stuff from Nancy Pelosi's district and actually put it on the concrete in AOC's district, and it'd probably win.
But, you know, honestly, the Republicans are not much any more inspiring.
Oh, no.
Trump is not the easiest guy in the world to defend. I get that.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, these guys are tying themselves into pretzels trying.
Right.
Well, I don't have to really get into specifics.
I do give credit to Trump on this. He is the ultimate troll master.
Sure.
He is
100%. Is there any more donuts left?
Oh yeah, especially watch his next meme that he posts and just watch people lose their minds. I mean, from the Trump Balboa.
Oh, and
the
Thanos. Did you guys see the Thanos?
Yeah,
oh my God, people were Don Lemon. I literally think Don Lemon lost like 5 years off his life. The way he reacted to that, he was. I mean, I thought he was going to have an aneurysm on live television.
Like I've said it a million times, we have 300+ million people in this country, and these are the cream of the crap of what we elect. But also, I agree, this is what we elect, this is what we deserve. And I'm hoping to talk about some issues on another show and the repercussions of elections. And this is what we get. You know, Nancy Pelosi's been in office now for 38 years? Yeah. And
she came over on the Mayflower.
And people were like, wow, she's stupid.
$1.3 trillion.
She was waiting tables at the Last Supper.
Something. But God, I mean, these are the people we elect. The best politician Lindsey Graham had a couple moments this year. And I hate I don't hate him, but I don't know him personally, but I'm from the state of South Carolina. He's a diaper stain of South Carolina. And he had a couple brilliant moments, you know, from Cory Booker to the I Am Spartacus moments to just so many things.
Because our leaders are stupid. Our politicians are stupid.
I think people in foreign countries go, you know what? Hollywood is such a great export industry for the U.S. I think any person who turns on the TV from a foreign country and just watches our news will be highly entertained with that. No, I think we just offer comedy.
Well, I mean, I think that's what it's all about. I mean, our politics isn't politics anymore. The policies are written by think tanks in D.C. that are funded by multinational corporations for their benefit. And the politicians are funded by the same multinational corporations. So they're going to pass the laws that come out of these think tanks that benefit the money, that keep the money flowing to them. And all this other stuff is just a distraction to keep people like you, me, talking about how stupid they are. Plus, keeping us blinded to what's really going on.
And I'm willing to bet that 99% of the people that actually put the stuff through the bills and stuff to pass don't even actually read this stuff. Like I said, it comes through these think tanks. And, you know, we've seen this multiple times now with Obamacare and the Patriot Act, things like this. Well, you must vote it through, then we can read it. Oh, hold on.
What?
Hold on.
We have to pass it to find out what's in it.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds like a stool sample to me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Line 43, Vanilla Ice is now president. Wait, what?
Hey.
What?
Ice Ice Baby.
The national anthem is now Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go. Yeah.
Classic.
Which is a classic, by the way.
Great.
I love me some Corn Pop was a bad dude. I can't get enough of that all day.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Biden offers.
Oh, gosh.
My secondhand embarrassment falls victim to Biden just because he gives some of the most cringe-worthy moments. And then also you interview the guy. Oh, my gosh. He's gold.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the debate between Trump and Biden? Can you imagine what that would be like? I mean, the sound bites that are going to come out of that.
Oh my gosh.
Who do we end up thinking? All right, here we are sitting in December. It's not turned 2020 yet. Who do we think are going to be the final contenders?
Corn Pop? Because he's a bad dude. No, I think Trump, obviously, and then I think Clinton's going to make her way into it.
Ooh, dark horse category.
Rematch.
I think it's coming.
Starcade 85 all over again. Cage match. I say Trump, Clinton cage match. Go for it.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Maybe that's how we do politics.
Celebrity death match.
Celebrity death match.
How about we have them, give them two pistols like in the old days. Give them two pistols, have them march out 20 and turn around. Who's standing? There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the old days, that's how leaders were chosen. They just fight to the death, and the dude that got up and walked away was the dude.
Have you guys not watched Hamilton? Nah, I'm just saying.
I don't know. I spent a lot of time keeping up with this stuff. I think right now odds on it have to be Biden, followed by Sanders on the Democratic side. I think Warren has had her time in the sun, and
she's one of the most unlikable people running right now.
But she's great on Saturday Night Live.
I think her next career could be the SNL.
She might be one of the most least genuine people. I mean, it's like somebody programmed her.
Pandering. She's the queen of pandering, though.
I mean, you love him or hate him. Bernie Sanders, I truly believe, and I believe in my heart that he believes everything he says.
Absolutely.
He's a genuine.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think he's a genuine because he's been saying this crazy stuff for 40 years.
He was getting drunk in Russia in the 80s, shirtless, singing Russian songs.
Yeah.
There's videos of that.
If he believes that, then why isn't he doing it? That's the thing that gets me with all the politicians.
Because he gets paid.
Well, no, he believes what he believes because he's the elite of that movement.
He's an oligarch.
Yeah, the elite of that movement always ends up with that kind of stuff. Socialism is basically a system for the top 1%.
Yeah.
It's just the other 99 are equally miserable.
That's right. Race to the bottom.
The 1812 barbecue story started over 20 years ago when Eric and his dad started entering local barbecue competitions for fun. During that time, Eric, a United States Marine, has traveled all over the world picking up flavors and techniques that today is the unique flavor of the award-winning 1812 barbecue. He has honed his craft to bring you fall-off-the-bone pulled pork, mouth-watering ribs, and finely crafted beef brisket. Eric has developed his own amazing dry rub and delicious barbecue sauce. And let's not forget the sides: coleslaw, smoked Gouda mac and cheese, cowboy baked beans, and to top it all off, banana pudding and pecan pie for dessert. Getting hungry yet? Good. Call or email Eric at 1812 Barbecue, and he can make your next catered meal happen. Wedding and graduation parties, family reunions, and other events will be memorable with 1812 Barbecue. Want to try your own hand at smoking meats? Pick up your own 1812 dry rub and start the journey for yourself. Shipping all over the world, connect with Eric on his Facebook page, Instagram at 1812 Barbecue, or call 704-604-5148, or email Eric at eric.line@1812barbecue.com, and he'll be glad to help any way he can. All right. Well, let's go into, we'll just go into your segment. We were going to have Mike from Bulljet.com. Bulljet. He was unable to make it. If you want to go to an NCAA bowl game, go to our friends at Bulljet.com. He was missed his flight. His flight was delayed, so he was going to jump on the phone with us, but he's not there. But you can check out all their packages out there. Fantastic prices, fantastic packages. My wife and I, we bought our Belk Bowl tickets this past week, so we're excited to go to that. But anyway, go check out our friends at Bulljet.com. We have them every year to kind of talk about those, but unfortunately they weren't able to make it. So, Marty, talk about Yang Gang and all the things. This is all yours now.
Well, you're talking about who the Democratic nominee is going to be. And, like I said, I've become a big fan of Andrew Yang.
$1,000 a month for everyone.
$1,000 a month for everyone.
Does he say anything else besides that?
He does. He's actually got more policy proposals on his website than any other candidate. He's got over 120 policy proposs on his website.
He needs to say that because all I hear is $1,000 for everyone.
Well, that's because they only give him 32 seconds of speaking time.
Right.
So
use it wisely.
I'm not saying I support everything he's about. I go back to the genuine thing. I do feel he is the most genuine person running on either side. I feel like he's the kind of person that can come sit down in this room and be very comfortable just having a beer with us and talking about life and throwing a couple policy proposals in at the same time. So I've enjoyed just kind of following what he's done. The guy's gone from nobody knowing who he is. He's now polling in some polls 6% nationally, which for perspective in 1992, that's exactly where Bill Clinton was polling at this point in the process.
Oh, wow.
And it's exactly where John Kerry was polling at this point in the process in 2004.
Huh.
So 60 days out of Iowa, they were both in the right there in that area. You guys remember Lieberman, Joe Lieberman?
Yeah.
He was head of John Kerry in 2004 at this point. Remember Howard Dean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also ahead of John Kerry at this point in 2004.
Yeah. Wow. So he may have
a shot. He raised $2 million last week, which is on par with the upper echelon of the candidates. So he's
how about you?
He's making a run at it. I don't think he's going to win the nomination. I would love to see it because you want to talk about a debate that would be fun. Andrew Yang and Donald Trump.
Yeah,
that would be intelligent. That would be must-see TV.
I think out of all the candidates, I think that would probably be the most. I think he. Oh man, I don't know how to put this without sounding.
It would be the most intellectual debate, without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And obviously Trump would not be doing the heavy lifting in that conversation.
And I think, but also just as a caveat, I think a Tulsi Trump conversation
would be outstanding as well.
I think that'd be my second favorite.
And I honestly, I think she's the second most genuine candidate on the Democratic side.
Exactly.
I do follow her quite closely. I would love to see a Yang Gabbard ticket either way, top, bottom, whatever.
Careful, it's a family show.
She is a smoking hot woman.
She's a very attractive young lady.
Yeah.
I'd send your emails to
Bring It On.
Mojo.
Mojo at SFP Radio. No, I'm just kidding.
And I'm a big fan of her trying to get us out of the interventionist wars and stuff that we've been involved in for most of my lifetime. We're borrowing trillions of dollars to go blow stuff up and then rebuild it. Just because it's profitable for multinational corporations who write our government policy.
$1.3 trillion.
Yeah, pretty close. That's what we spent on Afghanistan.
Was it really?
Yeah, we spent over $1 trillion to do nothing for 20 years other than get people killed.
Wow.
If you look at the statistics on Afghanistan, 1.3 trillion seems like a lot. But actually, if you break it down per second, how much we've spent in Afghanistan, it is actually mind-boggling. I mean, it makes you actually put your perspective because that's kind of like common people money. Like, $20,000 a second or whatever. You're like, wow.
And you know what the number one export of Afghanistan is?
Opium.
Huh. Oh.
Yeah.
The heroin trade.
Kind of putting two and two together.
Yeah.
Drug cartels in Mexico push that right across the border where immigration and, all awful lot of money.
I see the squirrel spinning in your.
Wasn't there a conspiracy theory that Bush was that was like his business?
Yeah, that was one of the conspiracy theories, is that they were smuggling the
CIA
opium.
planes
And honestly, they were smuggling them back in the caskets of dead soldiers. Just how
but why not? I mean, I know we're getting off.
Again, that's an Alex Jones. That's an Alex Jones episode right there.
But why not think that? Because that actually in the 80s, actually in the late 80s, the CIA actually was indicted and actually admitted to funneling crack cocaine into L.A. Cocaine and crack cocaine
inner
cities.
Yeah.
So CIA actually was popped for doing that.
Whoa!
Anybody who wants to look at the story, look up the real Freeway Rick Ross. Yeah, he's actually the guy who actually took the U.S. government to trial, even though he spent decades in prison for his part in it. But he actually, the CIA and U.S. government was actually indicted that. So
that was insane, because they spent the 80s pumping drugs into inner cities, poor inner city neighborhoods, and then they spent the 90s locking up,
trying to quote unquote clean it up,
locking up all the guys that were selling the drugs that they had pumped into the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So that the 80s and 90s, this is something that doesn't get a whole lot of air, but I read quite a bit about it. I mean, the African American males our age, I mean, their economic power, their voting power, their just livelihoods were decimated by the drugs being pumped into their neighborhoods, and then the quote-unquote cleanup.
The war on drugs.
Put them in jail. I mean, guys would get busted for pot possession, still in prison now, something you and I would have gotten probation or a slap on the wrist for.
Well, when Clinton announced the war on drugs, that's when we went to one of the highest incarceration rates back in the 90s.
I thought it was Reagan.
No, that was a Clinton. Matter of fact, Biden helped write that. Legislation.
Yeah, exactly.
What did Reagan do?
Dare. Yeah, they tried to convince him
just say no.
Yeah, just say no. Your brain on drugs.
Yeah. But it was Reagan.
Yeah,
Reagan's CIA is the one that was pumping the drugs into the inner cities, because they were funding regime change wars in Central and South America, and they were using the drug trade to help fund the guerrillas and rebels in certain countries.
So Ice Cube was right the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Huh. But see, that's something we do internationally too. Look, we trained Osama bin Laden.
Oh yeah,
we trained Gaddafi. We trained all these other despots of other foreign countries. We pay them, train them, and all of a sudden we don't like them anymore. We decide to go to war with them.
Bin Laden was a CIA asset for most of the 80s and 90s.
That's right. We trained the Mujahideen.
Listen, I watched Jack
Ryan. And now
Ryan.
We're fighting them.
I know how this thing turns out. That was a good show. Did you guys watch Jack Ryan?
It's on my watch list. I haven't got to it yet.
Very good.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing, though, right? Like, we kind of help put him into power.
Yeah. We take suitcases of money. We say, hey, here you go. This is what you're going to do. And then
remember Noriega in Panama? He rose to power. He basically rose to power because he was willing to launder drug money. And that's why we had to take him out, because he was stepping in on our action, basically.
Well, we had the Shah of Iran.
Yep.
And that's what led to the Iranian Revolution. That's the reason why, our Iranian population culture changed from kind of Western civilization, because we had a puppet there to where they had he was
neglecting the condition of his people, and the religious leaders stepped in and filled a void. And next thing you know, he was exiled to the U.S. in 78, 79.
Yep. Because that's when they took our hostages.
Google Tehran Iran in 1972 and look at some of the university photos. It would look just like a college campus in the United States.
The streets too.
Yeah.
The streets are clean and stuff like that now. It's different.
Producer Brian, are you as lost as this as I am?
Not completely.
Wow.
Because I read all the original Jack Ryan books.
we have kind of gone down a rabbit hole here.
No, I don't. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's.
I mean, I enjoy rabbit holes, so
I don't remember all that stuff. I was too busy playing with my He-Man action figures, and I never went back into figure out the real story of things.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about the revolution in Iran. That was basically a bunch of angry young men with no prospects who were convinced by the religious leaders that it was time to have a revolution. And that's one of the things that intrigues me about Andrew Yang, in that he is predicting something similar happening in this country as we automate away millions of jobs that young men coming out of high school with not a lot of opportunity would normally fill, truck drivers, things like that. as we automate away those jobs, you're going to have millions of 18 to 30-year-old young men with no employment prospects. And, it's really hard to start a family without a job.
Sure.
So limited romantic prospects as well, because the girls aren't, it's just true. Women don't tend to settle down with guys who can't take care of them, or at least provide a living. And so you're going to have millions of young men standing around with nothing to do and are angry about it. And that is a recipe for disaster. Historically, you have two options at that point. You can fight a war and get a bunch of them killed, or you can have a revolution. And one thing Andrew's fond of saying is it's better to undertake revolution than it is to undergo revolution.
Again, I go back to, have you guys not seen Hamilton? Because I think that's the whole story there, too, as well.
Well, this story is played over history 100 times.
Yeah.
And he's the only one talking about it on either side.
I think you're right. I think that it makes sense, at least logically, that if you automate, you lose the jobs. There's got to be some type of backfill on the jobs that can be created because of that, but probably not all of them, right?
Well, think about it. The people that are going to get left behind, the jobs that are going to get created are skilled jobs.
Sure.
People who program the trucks, people who maintain the trucks, things like that. But the people that that are at the lower end of the spectrum, today I stopped by my local grocery store on the way here, and for the first time, sometime in the last week, they've installed self-checkouts. So there's some more low-skilled labor going out the window.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, I'd rather go to a self-checkout because I'm better at it than the kid working behind the register.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I know how to look up produce, and I don't work there.
And you can get the ladies' unmentionables and not feel embarrassed.
Well honestly, the day they figure out, the day they let me scan my driver's license so the guy doesn't have to come in and put my birth date in for me to buy beer, is the day they win.
Yeah.
But you're eliminating all of these jobs, and what are the jobs is that creating? The guy that sets up the terminal. And, and they're getting so smart now, it's really set them up, log into the Wi-Fi, and it downloads everything. There's no setup involved.
Right.
So the jobs that you can't really retrain people that have no skills to start with other than customer service.
Yeah.
We've always had this problem, though. Probably the most in most recent history would be the horse and wagon.
I was just thinking that
when the cars came in. And this is what happened. The people that were in the farrier industry, we know, quote unquote, horse industry, wagon makers, blacksmiths, things like this, actually, petitioned not to have vehicles on roads and not to have these things, because it was a disruptor to the industry.
Yeah, there were noise ordinances in towns and stuff, like couldn't drive through on certain days.
Yeah, at certain hours, things like that. Yeah,
so many things like that. So we have histories of context, and we have it before that also with the Industrial Revolution, where we could actually go back to the periods in this country too, where the plantation owners didn't want the cotton gin to come in.
But it's happening. It's happening faster.
No, and the technology increases that way.
Yeah, and there's no time like the horse and buggy car revolution. If your job was to fix buggies, say you're to fix the wagon wheels on a buggy or whatever, the skills to that were still relatively translatable to working on an assembly line building a car. If my job was to fix an axle on a wagon, chances are pretty quickly I could pick up the necessary skills to go build axles for a car.
Right.
But the jobs that are being automated out now, they're like, you take a truck driver. They've got trucks now that can drive from major city to major city by themselves. They just need somebody to get them in and out of the terminal for the most part. Once that is figured out, you're going to eliminate, there's 4 million truck drivers in this country. Think about it. Say you cut out half of them because they just need people to take it inside and outside the terminal. You got 2 million people unemployed like that, and their only skill is driving a vehicle. Are they going to all become Uber drivers?
Yeah, Uber. There's that.
I've not read Yang's book yet. I'm intrigued by it. I just don't see how what he's offering is going to be. It's plain and simple.
It's not a solution to fix everything.
No means,
it's a stopgap, is what it is.
It may be a stopgap, but fundamentally, it's still wrong because let's just get this straight. The government creates nothing.
Right.
They provide. They don't make a tangible product to sell on the free market to generate income to give it back out. all they do is redistribute. Speaking of tongues,
easy for you to say.
They redistribute what's taken from us by theft, which is taxation, and then they ploy it out to other people.
And philosophically, I 100% agree with you. I believe philosophically that taxation is theft. But I do believe one of the primary functions of government is to provide stability for a society, to set up a set of operating rules that everyone has to operate within, so that society can continue to function and have a certain amount of safety. And when giant curveballs gets thrown, and we're at a point right now with the polarization that we have going on, where people can't even agree on the basic operating rules.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that.
And if you have that situation, and then you have the curveball coming in of the, as Yang calls it, the fourth industrial revolution, where all of a sudden we have massive numbers of jobs getting eliminated and these people with no prospects. So you got polarization, then that coming in on top of it, something has to be done to make sure that it stays stable. And I don't think right now that we're in a position to stay stable if what he says is going to happen happens over the next 10 years.
Maybe you're right. But I just don't see, for example, the companies that you think of that are automatically will automate. Amazon, large footprint. Mm-hmm. Trucking industry, large footprint. These are the guys I think that will probably quickly automate. Airlines. I mean, of course, airlines are 90% automated anyway now. Train industry, maybe public transit, which a bad thing because nobody rides them anyway. But
it depends on where you're at. Northeast corridor, it's the only way to get where you're going.
No, it depends on where you're at. But I think these are the industries that will do it. But anything in the private sector, Amazon, Walmart, these big warehouses that automate, if they want people to be the end user consumer of what they're doing, is like Amazon. If Amazon all of a sudden came across and eliminated 75% of their human workers, that's a huge void of unemployment. They can't spend money into the industry to feed back to the beast. Yep. So it's in their best interest to keep a majority of these people employed.
I think you're right to an extent, but I also know that a huge segment of Yang's support for this comes from the tech industry, your Amazons, even your basically your tech companies that are automating these jobs away. They see it coming.
Sure.
And a lot of his largest donors are from that industry because they know it's coming and they're looking for a way to keep money in the consumer's pocket so they can still make money because they know that it's gonna happen.
You said a key phrase of keeping us safe as part of the job of the government. I just looked up that the defense budget for 2020 is $720 billion.
It's actually went over $800 billion in the package that they're passing this week.
$737,540,000.
It's $800 billion is what it's coming up.
They just increased it, yeah.
But
that's what we know of. That's not including black.
That's not including Area 51.
Sure.
Must be aliens.
Do we need that much money on defense?
No.
Well, we don't need it.
But we keep feeding that beast because we have to. We've built such a
We have to because the military is 1/6 of our domestic spending.
Right.
Which equals employment. And we have to.
Well,
and the current guy in office loves making friends overseas.
Well, part of the thing about it is we spend billions of dollars every year protecting the interest of multinational corporations. That's where a lot of our military spread out all over the world is about, is protecting the business interests of multinational corporations.
Opiates.
We are spending money to be a police force, a world's police force. And we spend more money on national defense than I think it's our next 27 competitors combined.
Right.
And of those 27, like 25 are our allies. Mm-hmm. So, it's a ridiculous sum of money we spend on national defense every year.
We spend, but we also borrow.
Well,
we borrow to spend.
I'm saying, we don't spend money. We don't spend money we have. We put a lot of defense on our credit card.
Yeah, sure.
That 30% interest rate that we owe to China. Which is why we'll never go to war with China because they'll never get their damn money.
Yeah, sure. I just hope they never call our note in. Because
That's when we go. That's when. No, well, that's when we go to war.
Yeah.
Then that's when I'm. What's going to. That's one thing that makes me nervous is, the minute that it looks like society might topple, and the fact that we've got all these kids standing around with nothing to do. Oh, I guess we need to go. China. We need to go. Yeah, we need to go show China some freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you guys seen the movie Red Dawn?
Both of them.
First one's better.
Yeah.
First one is way better. Swayze rules.
Yeah. Where does the $1,000 come from?
He's got several different proposals. One, it's opt-in. So if you are currently receiving government assistance,
I like that.
That's more than if you've received more than $1,000 in government assistance now. If you opt in for the freedom dividend, you don't get what you're already getting.
I love the crafty names they come up with.
It's awesome. Yeah. The biggest part of it is going to come from a value-added tax, which we are the only modern economy in the world that doesn't already have one.
I got a damn good idea. How about we just cut all income tax and just go to a value-added tax?
Well, I'm all for that, actually. And the biggest reason he wants to do value-added is, like, you got Warren and Sanders both want to have a wealth tax,
right,
where they just take $1 billionaire's worth and cut right off the top. Oh, you owe us this. They're smart people with a lot of accountants. They're going to figure out a way to avoid that.
Oh, yeah. Offshore.
Yeah. So the way the value-added tax would work is it would really hit the tech companies the hardest. Google, Amazon, Facebook, basically they exchange our information that we freely give them by agreeing to their terms and services. In case you guys didn't know, every time you check that little box and say, I agree to terms and services, that gives them the permission to sell your search history, everything you put on Facebook, all the information you have out on social media. They can sell it back and forth for advertising, revenue, things like that.
Thanks, Facebook.
Government sees no money from that. We see no money from that. But Amazon, Facebook, Google, they are selling that money for billions of dollars in ad revenue to reach you. So when you talk about buying an air fryer and the next morning you log into Facebook and there's a nice big ad for an air fryer.
Great. Now I'm going to have an air fryer on my
Everybody that's listening to this podcast is now going to have an air fryer.
Alexa, look up air fryer.
But so what he's proposing to do is every time that information exchange takes place, he will put a dollar value tax on that. So they will have to pay a tax to exchange that information back and forth. Likewise, when the ad revenue comes in, there will also be a tax put on that. He's only talking about a 10% tax. I know that sounds like a lot, but most industrialized countries are between 16 and 27% for a value-added tax. That would raise almost $1 trillion a year in additional revenue, and that's where a lot of the dividend would come from.
But my problem is that the companies never pay it. It's the end user who does.
Yeah. They do.
You know,
they're going to figure out a way to pass that along.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So how does that benefit us, though?
This is the major benefit for it. It's going to really benefit. This is why he believes a lot of the what a quote unquote red states will be on board with this. Say you come from a town of 15,000 people in Kansas. It's pretty much a dying town. All the kids are moving out when they go to college if they can. The kids that can't move out are trying to make it the best way they can. And all of a sudden, that 15,000 people in that town, or every one of them is getting an extra $1,000 a month. How does the economy of that 15,000 person town change overnight when they have that extra spending power? Maybe somebody opens a local, you're a chef by trade, or your motorcycles, more incentive to open up a shop because now this is the town can support it. There's just not enough revenue in the town to support business right now. So all those businesses, they create jobs, they pay more taxes, and all of a sudden the tax base is just lifted a little bit.
But once again, you're redistributing.
It's absolutely
wealth.
redistributing.
You're taking money from major cities who actually have thriving economies and dumping it into a city that doesn't deserve it. But not only that, though.
I don't know anything about that small town in Kansas. Who do you think you are?
But you've got these. The biggest thing is you've got large corporations that are multinational in nature who are paying zero. They're sucking up huge segments of our economy dollar-wise, but they're paying zero to help support the people that are paying or doing that. You know what I'm saying? There's no tax base coming from it. Amazon uses the roads to deliver their packages. They use public transportation, or not public transportation. They use the post office, for Christ's sake.
Oh, they're subsidized by the that's the problem.
But they're not contributing to the system. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just telling you how it currently works.
No, I agree with you. I mean, but you got to realize before 1913, we actually had roads in this country. And they were before 1913.
Yeah, and they were all funded by property taxes.
What's that?
They were funded by property taxes.
Not necessarily. I mean,
they
were funded by tariffs, but also they were actually funded by local value-added taxes. Yep. So if you didn't spend the money, you couldn't be taxed for it.
Right.
So why not have Amazon like we have Adopt a Highway now? We don't pay for a lot of counties that have Adopt a Highway cities or situations do not pay anybody to go clean up that stretch of highway. It's a pure voluntary basis, or a company donates to have that highway. Why not? Amazon, a great example. I mean, here in the Charlotte Concord area, how many Amazon distributions do we have? I mean, they're popping up like Starbucks and Walgreens around here.
There's 4 in the Charlotte metro area.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I got stuff sitting in my house right now I haven't even thought about ordering yet, just because they're so fast. But why not have Amazon?
I think
pay for the roads.
I think the problem is large enough that you're suggesting a local solution by having Amazon do stuff in this area and this area. I think that there are huge segments of this country that are getting left behind because of the advancements in our society. And the large cities and the coast are thriving, and there's a lot of stuff in the middle that's getting left behind. And we've got to figure out a way to lift them up. And it's better for our society as a whole. I mean, I don't want to. You've got to be able to bring the floor up a little higher.
Well, but you can, but it never benefits the society. I think this goes against my nature, but also my beliefs. But I see this every day where in my industry, what I work in right now, you have people that want to purchase things. And this is what's going to happen. You have people that want to purchase things that have no business in purchasing them. They can't purchase them due to bad mistakes they've made in their life and poor decisions they continue to make. That's also a frustration of mine with philanthropy. You want to help people. You want to lift them up, but it's kind of hard to lift them up and go pay for their $400 they're missing on their power bill. They're turning power back on when they're wearing a brand new pair of $300 tennis shoes. Just because you give $1,000 to someone doesn't mean it's going to fix their problems. Doesn't mean it's going to fix their feast or famine. You're going to have people out there, that take that $1,000 and be like, you know what? I'm going to go buy a brand new lawnmower and I'm going to start cutting neighbors' yards and I'm going to charge $25 a pop. It still ain't going to fix that person's problem that does not know the value of money. And they're just going to go out and, you know what? I'm throwing a party at Krispy Kreme, everybody.
You're right.
There's round of grits for everybody.
There's nothing to stop somebody from doing that.
But what do we do? Do we continue to lift that person up? Do we go, I tell you what, not only do you get $1,000 a month, we're now going to give you a free education in Dave Ramsey's Financial University.
that should be
that
mandatory.
might be better than $1,000 a month. But, I mean, I think there's no perfect solution, and I don't think this is ever going to get passed. What I think is it's a very interesting conversation.
No, I agree.
And I think it's, you've got to, I hate to bring this up, but I think about who's a Star Trek fan? I mean, you watch Star Trek growing up?
Yeah.
All right, so the Star Trek Utopia, where they've basically moved past a monetary economy and they basically have everything they need for their needs, and they're allowed to focus on other things that improve society, yada, yada, yada. I think this is kind of like the beginning of that pipe dream, like, if we can get the foot off, the phrase he uses a lot is, if we can get the boot off of somebody's neck long enough for them to think about what's going on, they can improve themselves, which in turn will improve society. It basically negates human nature. Because, basically 10 to 15% of the population is never going to amount to anything. I don't give you $1 million. Mm-hmm. But I think it's an interesting conversation starter. No, and there's some merit to it, and we'll just see where it goes.
Yeah, I love the thought experiment of thinking about this, but we can see the potholes. I mean, if you take a person who is making $50,000 a year, and by the time you take out their average taxes that they actually throw out, it's probably around 51%. By the time you take out federal tax income, state tax, by the time you do their spending tax as far as sales tax,
property tax,
they're spending
all the fees for registrations of vehicles and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just every nitpicking dollar they spend. Why not? Let's just say instead of taking $26,000 out of my pocket in taxes,
give that back to me.
How about you just cut that in half? Let me keep half of the money that I've earned. You've done nothing to do it.
Yeah.
Let me keep half of that. Let's see how I can stimulate the economy then.
And we could stimulate the economy, you're right. But what we're going to have when we do that is there is still a large segment of the population that if you cut their tax bill in half, you're not putting any more money in their pocket because under the current tax structure, they don't pay taxes now.
But here's the thing, though. We're trying to lift people up, and I'm accusing people in my family, the ones who have an iPhone that's probably being paid for by my tax dollars right now, okay? So I'm speaking to my own family. You got people that don't pay taxes and get a tax rebate.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of messed up math is this?
Government math.
And here we are, we're trying to give them more money of the money that all four of us sitting in this room contribute to.
Yeah. Again,
how about we just do away with taxes altogether? Let's see who fights it out to the end.
It's now the Hunger Games.
I know I got 2 weeks covered.
Well, I mean, most of us do. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Most of us.
I might run out of bullets after 2 weeks.
But I was calculating. See, me, I'm self-employed, so I don't get a I don't get a traditional paycheck. So I defer to my wife. It's like, what do you earn? And I figure her tax bracket, just on her taxes from work, are 32%. That's including. Imagine if she had to keep half of
you
that.
You throw in health care on top of that.
Oh, jeez, yeah. But imagine if you got to keep half of the taxes per paycheck. You could do so much more. She could buy a car. She could do something, do that. I mean, stimulate the economy. Yeah, there's people who are going to be left behind. And I don't want to leave those people behind. But just like that person who stands, I'm not equating to people who can't get up. There's people out there that have situations that can't get up.
Sure.
But there's also people that are there due to their own poor decisions and the current decisions. Like there's a guy that's been standing on the side of the road every day, one exit down from where your brewery is, with a sign, anything helps. I've seen people give him bottles of water and he throws it to the side. I've seen people give him food. He'll go set it off, throw it in the trash. He's looking for money. These are the people that want people to do for them and them not returning anything to society. And those are the people I do not want to see my tax dollars given to. If you're going to redistribute my tax dollars, not that I agree with funding more to schools right now, I'd rather my money go to them, not the people that just want to sit there and watch Netflix and chill all day.
I'd rather my money go to daycare so they don't keep asking me to
buy chocolate, peanut butter popcorn.
Told you, man. Offer to write them a check.
Anyway,
just say, hey, go in. This is what you do. Go in on. What's today? Go in after the New Year because holidays. Nobody wants to be a Grinch.
Sure.
Don't be a Grinch. Go in after the New Year and say, what was the average haul from all the fundraisers individually last year? Like, so what did Joe Blow, who did all the fundraisers last year? What was that for? How much was that? And when they give you that dollar amount, say, if I write you a check right now, would you leave me alone?
That's the thing, though. But we can't get out of the messaging. It's a blast.
You can't opt out.
No, there's no opt out feature.
Oh, gotcha.
It's just messaging all the time.
You know what you do?
Block.
Go to Verizon and change your phone number.
But then that's the same number they use to call you if Hot Pocket has.
If Hot Pocket's in trouble, so I can't.
All right.
Tell Hot Pocket not to get in trouble.
Go get a burner phone. Right. Change the number to burner phone.
That's a good idea. All right, so we'll go back. Best any parting words of wisdom for 2019?
For me, parting words.
Talk less politics in 2020.
No, it's impossible. It's a presidential election.
Yeah, no, that's going to be even hotter.
Well, just in case we don't make it to 2021, it's been nice knowing because a nuclear holocaust will probably happen depending upon the election.
Gotcha.
That'll fix all these problems.
Well, if Jesus comes back, we ain't got to worry about it anymore.
I've been reading way more Tim LaHaye lately, so I think I think it's coming back. I'm just kidding.
You've been watching Jack Van Ampe?
Oh, dude, we were talking about Oral Roberts the other day. Remember when he had his telethon and said God said he was going to die if he didn't raise so much money? We were talking about that at work the other day. When you said that, it just made me laugh.
At least the other ones don't go that far. Kenneth Copeland just goes, hey, Creflo Dollar just want the planes.
Yeah.
I had $50 million. I got to be able to nonstop.
Nonstop again.
Did you guys talk about Kanye and Joel?
Yeah, did you?
I missed that episode,
like 2 episodes ago. Right?
Okay, all right. Yeah. I just say that was the highlight of 2019.
That was great.
I just got to say.
No, parting words.
Jesus Christ Superstar all over that one.
My parting words, for those, I still encourage to go sign up as a donor because obviously I'm passionate about that because I get to be around to say a lot of nonsense on a podcast. So that's pretty cool. 2020, the older I get, the more I'm thinking about becoming an anarchist. Let me clarify that.
Antifa, here we come.
That's anti-fascist. No, but I don't want to depend on the government. I don't want us collectively as a society to depend on the government. So what I mean by that, set this up. This year, I challenge everyone to be a little kinder, to be a little nicer, to pay it forward in many ways. I mean, we can help each other out. We can make huge strides. And it has to start in a small-time community. It has to start with that community giving back. I think of stories of like Fill My Basket still. That was 2 years ago. We interviewed those guys. I still think about that. These people that get out there and make a difference every day. You guys have done fundraisers for the young lady that had cancer. Communities that do that. I'm not talking about communities like cities. I'm talking about communities. It could be 4 guys that smoke a cigar, and that's a community. Guys that sit around and BS around a TV eating chicken wings, looking at girls in skin-clad shirts at a Hooters restaurant. That's a community. Focus on that. Benefit each other. I think a lot of the problems that we have can be done that way. You know, just talking about community for a second. One of my favorite beloved burger restaurants, all of Charlotte, Brooks Sandwich House. One of the twin brothers, owners, was murdered right outside the restaurant 2 weeks ago. The community, the best thing to come out of this situation, but we will mourn his loss because I don't know him personally, but I ate a many cheeseburgers made by him, was the community outpouring and outreach. You know, someone started a GoFundMe for him just to help raise for funeral costs and also maybe a scholarship for his son. Well, the community's pretty much doubled that. It'll probably triple by the time it's set up. That's called community outreach. Yeah. That is being part of the community. Yeah. So I challenge everyone in 2020 to do that. I mean, you can be a jerk, but it doesn't take, it's free to be kind and nice and stuff like that. Plus your response is generally going to be a lot better if you're nice and not a jerk. Anyway, it's my party words.
I thought you were going to say I'm going to become an anarchist and I'm really going to push for the purge. That's where I was going.
Ooh, no. See, that goes against my motto because I love everyone.
Producer Brian, any words of wisdom, parting words for 2019?
I don't have anything quite that deep.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
I'm just maybe Popeye's 2.0 chicken sandwich.
Just, I mean, be excellent to each other. How's that?
Yeah. No,
Bill and Ted for you.
McFly,
actually, the sequel's coming out. Did you know that?
Are they completing the trilogy finally?
They are, yes. They were.
Wow.
Yep. Speaking of also be excellent to each other, Keanu Reeves Day was announced last week. May 21st of 2021, the Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 are premiering on the same day. So it's Keanu Reeves Day. So double feature.
Is Speed 4 coming out or something?
Well, he didn't even do Speed 2. So.
Maybe they'll take Greta.
That was Jason Patrick did Speed 2. It was like the cheap knockoff Keanu Reeves.
Horrible. But maybe they'll take Greta Thunberg off the Time magazine, put Keanu Reeves up next year.
They should.
So.
Yeah.
I am excited about Top Gun, the remake or the new one.
The sequel.
Maverick. Sorry.
I'm not a Tom Cruise fan, so
I love Top Gun though.
Words of wisdom for 2020.
Yeah.
This is something I'm getting really big into. Talking to people you disagree with.
Why'd you look at me for?
Actually, you and I agree more than we probably admit. It's becoming a skill that is less and less noticeable in our society.
Sure.
And going into an election year, I imagine it's going to get less and less noticeable. Just put a little effort into talking to somebody that doesn't agree with you. You know, if you're a Trump supporter, hug a Nancy Pelosi fan. And if you are a Bernie supporter, you know, maybe talk to your crazy Trump uncle supporter and kind of go through, just actually have a conversation and stop just automatically assuming that everybody that disagrees with you is an evil.
Yeah.
I go on Twitter a lot because it's fun for me and I like to stir stuff and just push people's buttons. But you've got to either have a sense of humor about it or dial it down a notch.
Yeah.
One of the two, because if we keep going like this, the 2020 is going to be a disaster.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's my words of wisdom for 2020. Love somebody you disagree with.
Nice. I'm going to say on the same vein of love, but love yourself and stop thinking with that 12-year-old mindset of yours.
I just want to say 2019 has been a big year for you, my friend.
Yeah. It's been a roller coaster. Dang it, you can make me cry on this episode too.
Yes. Mission accomplished.
But love yourself. Love take care of yourself. 2020 for me is going to be a huge self-care year. We'll talk about that more as we go into 2020.
Are you transitioning still?
I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm still thinking about it. But
most health insurance has to cover that now.
They do. Thank you. No, I think I'm fine with my gender, so we're good with that. But honestly, just think about the good things about you. You talked about community. Surround yourself with people that encourage you, that can bring out the good sides of you. And then as Mojo will give me words of wisdom and tell me like, hey, I love you for, whatever. And that really speaks volumes to me that be able to accept those words of encouragement and those words of love and affirmation. I know it sounds hokey and cheesy, but I think a lot of us just don't like ourselves. And we're angry at others because we don't love ourselves. So go to therapy, find a fantastic therapist that can help you through that process. But this has been a huge year for me. Next year's going to be even more huger, or technically less huge. So we'll talk about that. We'll journey together on the show about that. So I'm looking forward to self-love and self-care for 2020.
So you basically doubled your family from 2 to 4.
We did.
So are you trying for 8?
No, we're exactly where we need to be.
Okay.
So we're not doing that. It's more taking care of yourself.
Was it like 4.2 kids and 2.1 dogs? So I guess we got to get a dog next year.
Dude, my dog, she's starting to lose her eyesight, and it ain't pretty. She's running into things now. It's like, oh, baby girl, I love you.
It's like me at 5:30 in the morning when I'm trying to find the bathroom to pee.
So it's been a fun journey. Thank you guys for journeying with us this year. 2020 is going to be fantastic, so we're excited about that. So thanks again for journeying with us.
Yeah. Parting words. Thank you for 2019.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you or you guys listening to us again in 2020. Please hit us up on our email. What's that email again?
sfpradio@gmail.com.
So, any guests that you guys would like for us to concentrate on, or if you guys would like to be a guest and have a great story, just send us a quick little snippet of what you guys do, what you would like to talk about, and we'll try to get back to you, because that's one thing we find is compelling conversation. You may not live in the Concord area, be in the Charlotte area, or maybe international. It doesn't matter. I mean, cool stories are cool stories. And it ain't going to be something that you're setting the world on fire, but everyone has a story.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I enjoy talking about. So, that's where we're at. So thanks for 2019. Thanks for all the new listeners. And as always, you can find us on the Facebooks at Southern Fried Philosophy. You can also find us on our website at southernfriedphilosophy.com. You can go to basically any podcast aggregate that plays podcast. Just go there, hit Southern Fried Philosophy, give us a like, a share, a review, a rating. That's kind of the more important things we like to do is see the ratings and reviews, especially with iTunes, because they're crazy. I don't know how they do it. They do government math. That's how they push everyone up. So please do that. We appreciate it anytime you share our episodes. Yeah, so here we go. Next decade.
Thank you guys again for tuning in. And as always, keep looking up.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.